So I used to love doing squats and deadlifts, and I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't do them yourself, because I know for myself personally, I couldn't stand it whenever someone would tell me that I shouldn't be doing them. And I used to get defensive. I'd tell them that just because squats and deadlifts may not be good for you, doesn't mean that they're not good for me. I'm loving them and they feel great. That is, until they didn't. And admittedly, the biggest reason why I got into doing more squats and deadlifts is because they were really trendy on YouTube. It was really actually inspiring to see so many guys hitting personal bests and really seeing their progress, following along with their journey. Especially some guys who are like pretty new to lifting and just seeing things go up. And then other guys who are advanced in lifting and just getting into deadlifts and really seeing how they were progressing. And really, when I'm reflecting back on it, there was a lot of lessons learned because it seemed like every so often, a lot of these same YouTubers who were inspiring me would end up doing a series, their road to recovery after blowing out their back and then getting back onto the platform again. There's the whole recovery process and everything. So that maybe could have been a sign that there is a lot of risks involved when it comes to deadlifts and squats, but they were feeling great to me and I was enjoying the progress. There was a movement that I was actually pretty darn strong on. I'd say for the most part, I was doing a lot of the sumo deadlift just felt natural for me. I know a lot of guys will laugh at that. That's the thing with social media. You're always going to get the keyboard jockeys and the critics and everything out there. Sumo isn't a deadlift. Conventional is the way to go, but conventional just never felt good to me. It never felt comfortable. But sumo felt really, really good. And I was building that up and also working in the trap bar deadlift, which felt incredible. It's, I think, a safer lift when you're approaching the deadlift there. And with the trap bar deadlift, I was working up to, in this video here, 3 reps with 410 pounds. And you can see like good form, good strong form, like bracing myself, nothing sloppy. My back wasn't like arching or rounding or anything like that. This movement felt incredible. And I was having a lot of guys tell me like, dude, like you're pretty much on the brink of lifting 3 times your body weight with a trap bar deadlift there. And again, I think in part ego gets in the way. I'm like, oh geez, because at the time I weighed 142 pounds. I'm about 150 pounds right now. I'm like, so all I need is like 426 pounds, and that's 3 times my body weight. I'm already doing 410 pounds for 3 reps. I ended up getting 430 pounds for 3 repetitions as well. But it was at this point, even though I had good form and I had gradually built myself up to this strength, that I started to experience some issues. There was many times where I would start to lift the bar up off the ground and I just collapse. Everything would give out. I'd fall to the ground and I just wouldn't be able to move. I just lie there for 5-10 minutes before being able to get up. And then I wouldn't be able to be back in the gym for 2, sometimes 3 weeks as I recover and then get back at it. Think to myself, I'm good. I can work through this. I've seen all these other YouTubers who are doing their road to recovery. I can do the same thing myself here, build myself back up. Boom, happened again. It was happening more and more frequently. A lot of it wasn't necessarily my lower back back here. It was mainly the glutes, like the upper glute region here. That I would find like it wasn't necessarily a weakness. Maybe it was a weakness. Maybe my glutes just couldn't handle that load at that point, but I'd feel something go on there and then I'd feel like the loose, like a sharp pain. It was kind of a low back pain where like once the glutes gave out, it was the low back kind of took a brunt of the load and that would just take me out. And then I'd have to do a lot of self-massage with a lacrosse ball, with a bocce ball, with a softball, whatever to kind of loosen up the glutes and that would get me back. So at that point, I was like, you know what, after it started happening more and more and like not being able to get up off the floor at the gym, I was like, what am I doing to myself? Like I'm too young to injuring myself. Like if I keep this up, it could end up being like a serious injury at some point, especially watching some of these videos where guys were blowing out their discs and like bulging discs, herniated discs. I'm like, I don't need to be doing that kind of stuff. Like this is my career. I don't need to be out of work here. It's just not worth the risk at this point there. So that's the biggest reason why I stopped doing deadlifts. Now, had I done more at that time, like now I'm incorporating yoga into my lifestyle. I'm doing a lot more mobility work, a lot more flexibility work, a lot more calisthenics. If I was doing more of that back then, it was also at the same time, I think around like Supple Leopard came out. So people were spending like time, like 45 to an hour in the gym before their actual workout, doing a lot of mobility stuff leading up to that. But if I was incorporating, if I had a more balanced approach, because at that time I was in the gym weight training 6 days per week, if I had cut back my weight training, started doing more yoga, more mobility stuff, would I still be good to go? Would I have prevented those injuries from happening? It's a possibility. And that's the biggest reason why I'm not telling you not to squat or deadlift. This is just my personal experience from my journey that led up to that point where it was just bodybuilding. I was like, forget functional training, forget yoga, forget mobility and all this crap. Like that's just not me. I'm just going to get in here and lift. This is functional enough. I'm mobile enough. I'm athletic enough. I play sports and all that stuff. And bodybuilding is carrying over in a good way. This movement is very practical for me. The deadlift is very good. And again, until it wasn't. So again, is just my personal experience. It may not be the same experience for you. You may be taking a smart approach, a more holistic approach that is making your core stronger, your hips are nice and loose and mobile and everything is good. And maybe you're being smarter with your overall programming as well. I mean, I had pretty damn good smart programming, but maybe once a week of deadlifting is too much, or twice a week of deadlifting is too much. Maybe spacing it out a little bit more could have been better. Who knows? It's really tough to say. Hindsight's 20/20. And then with the squat, again, great with the squat. I asked to grass, getting right down there. I love doing pause squats, like getting right down, ass on my ankles there, ass on my heels, hold it, pause there for a couple of seconds and shoot back up there. It felt incredible. I had great range of motion. Again, everything was going smooth until it didn't. And it's probably the combination of the issues dealing with the deadlifts there that was causing some of the hip issues there, the low back issues there, and just having that load, that bar on my spine just wasn't doing it for me. So I'd like stop squatting for a while, and each time I tried getting back to squatting, I just put that bar on my back, even with a light weight. It could have just been 115 pounds, so 35 pound plates on each side. Do a squat and just right away feel it was, again, the glute areas up in the hips that would just kind of, something was off there. So again, if I was going to massage therapy a lot and all that stuff, but maybe there's other things I could have done that would have made me better able-bodied to get back into squatting at that point. But then it's at the point, like, we've got the leg press, we've got the hack squat where I can press my back firmly into the padding there and I don't have to worry about any kind of rounding of the lower back, like everything. It was a more safer movement. So I just started building myself up with the hack squat, with the leg press, and that felt incredible as well. Really, I'll be honest with you now, like if I didn't ever do, well, I don't squat and I don't deadlift anymore, but even if I never did a hack squat again or did a leg press again, and I just stuck with variations of the split squat, whether it's a rear foot elevated, a front foot elevated, just both feet down there, different lunge variations, that along with all the other accessory movements like leg extensions, leg curls, the 45-degree back extension where you're really focused on the hamstrings and the glutes, inner outer thighs, the hip flexion, hip extension, hip thrust, all those different kind of accessory movements, I would be more than fine. I think you can develop incredible legs, maybe even your best thighs possible, just working with all those accessory exercises and maybe some split squat variations. You don't need to do any type of barbell squat, hack squat, leg press, deadlifting, anything like that. You don't even have to do a Romanian deadlift if you're doing something like that 45-degree angle back extension there, hyper extension there, because you're going to get a great challenge with your hamstrings as well as your glutes. And again, like with the Romanian deadlift, that's another one, because I get it's once that weight gets up, because I have the strength there and I'm able to lift a heavier load, like with the Romanian deadlift 295 in this video for like 10 to 12 repetitions here. Feels good, but every once in a while you feel something's just a little bit off. Maybe it's the way I slept the night before. Things are just a little bit out of alignment and you just feel a pull. Again, when I got up to 315 pounds, that's when I felt a little pop with my psoas muscle down here. I started to think to myself, like, is it worth it? I could go lighter and do a whole lot higher repetitions with the barbell Romanian deadlift, or even the dumbbell Romanian deadlift feels really good and smooth in that area. Just being cautious, just being smart. But just the biggest takeaway in this video is that there's no exercises you have to do. Like it used to be, like even now, like still to this day, someone just asked me recently, what are your numbers on the big three, the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift? I'm like, I don't do any of those anymore. I'll do like a converging chest press, like a hammer strength chest press machine, cable chest press, dumbbell bench press. I don't do barbell bench press anymore. Again, just risk reward. And there's just so many different exercises. If something doesn't feel good to me, there's such a variety of exercises I can choose from that are going to challenge that muscle just as effective, maybe more effectively, because I can target it even better. I feel safer with that movement there. So again, don't feel locked into just because you're here, just because of the keyboard jockeys out there. You got to be, everyone's a critic. Everyone's going to have their opinions. Do what suits your body best. Maybe it is squats and deadlifts. Just be smart with it. Do your proper warm-ups. Like I was doing all of that stuff too, but maybe work in a little bit more mobility in there. Maybe work in some yoga to keep yourself in this for the longer term so you're able to squat and deadlift for longer. Maybe don't go as close to true momentary muscular failure. Like you should always leave a rep in reserve when it comes to the squat and the deadlift, but maybe leave a few reps in reserve rather than pushing it even closer there. Maybe avoid doing, like in this lift here, I was going for 3 repetitions. Maybe I should have kept it to 6 repetitions or more, like 6 to 10 repetitions, instead of trying to challenge myself with the 3 reps there. So there's so many different ways I could approach it looking back on it. But right now I'm at the stage where I just have no desire to go back to those movements, the squat or the deadlift, when all these other exercises just feel so good to me and are challenging my body in a great way. And honestly, I've never felt better. So why incorporate something just because other people think they're the best exercise out there? No one's living in my body. I'm the one that's living in this body, and I want to feel my best. I want to be thriving. So I'm going to do what's going to serve me best, and that's what you should do as well.